Pastor Wairimu, and the Faith Evangelistic Ministries, honored guests, good afternoon. Before I begin, and I can see he's gone now, I was not personally aware that the Honorable Odinga recommended the hospital in Boston to my father. Besides the wonderful care that they gave him, the hospital canteen had the best chocolate cake I've ever eaten. And while spending time with Dad in his hospital room, I could go through several slices a day, much to his amusement. This has been an amazing and uplifting week. It has kept my sister, our entire family, and I going through a very difficult time. We sincerely thank you for your kindness and your empathy. You've all told amazing stories about his generosity, his intelligence, his work ethic, but there's perhaps one thing that hasn't been mentioned to its fullest, and it may come as a surprise to many of you. Dad loved a good argument, especially with me. After I left Kenya to go to university and later on to work, I'd come home every so often on holiday, and we established a little routine between us. The night I was leaving home to go back to work or to university, whatever it was, we'd have dinner together at home, either just the two of us or with some family members around. We'd almost always get into an argument about something. It was our manly Kirubi way of telling each other that we'd miss each other. And it used to be quite profitable for me. Before I stormed off and got in the car, he'd always make sure at the end of the argument that my pockets were filled with either US dollars or pounds. I remember one particular discussion. I asked Dad, have you ever thought of what you will do when you retire from work? I blame my youth and naivety at the time. As you can imagine, things went downhill very quickly. I'll spare you the blow-by-blows, but we got into a very technical discussion about the definition of work. Dad was extremely vocal and clear that what I did at DHL was work. There was absolutely nothing about what he did every day that could be classified as work. That conversation came rushing back to my mind over the last few days. As he annoyingly always was, Dad was right. The thing is, though, I've heard a lot about loss. And personally, after this week, I refuse to accept that we have lost anything. As I look around this wonderful church, I recall the individual conversations I've had with many of you at home, all the wonderful tributes from everyone. My sister and I, our whole family, have not lost anything. Our Father lives on in every single person he touched, every person who acted upon his advice, counsel, and mentorship. I call upon everyone who understood what Dr. Chris Kirubi stood for to take whatever they have learned from him and make sure they take positive action to focus and continue to do the right things for themselves, their families, the community, and for this country. And most importantly, I call upon you to help others around you as my father helped you. Invest in people as he did his whole life. He may not be physically here, but that is how he will continue to live amongst us forever. I won't accept that we have lost him, and I look to you all to hold yourselves accountable to take his wisdom forward. If you don't, like my father, you'll come to understand I also love a good argument. To quote Mark Twain, the two most important days in your life are the day you were born and the day you find out why. My father, Dr. Chris Kirubi, found out why very early in life, and he spent his life expressing that reason to and through all of us. Let us all honor his reason in Jesus' name. Thank you.
I would like to thank you very much for being patient. I think we have